Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Road to 180 Reverse Diet. This is my chronicling of a 6-week cool down period after a 20-week fat loss phase where I attempt to re-enter the normal world at a healthy, sustainable, and non-fluctuating weight. So if this is your first time at my channel, and if you're lacking the necessary context, I have recently completed a 20-week fat loss protocol, which ended about 3 weeks ago. And for the past 3 weeks, I have been slowly reversing my diet, trying to find my new maintenance calories. So as I mentioned, I can maintain the weight that I currently am at and my current body fat composition, and then use that as a springboard to essentially live normally for the next year. So I realize that I have a tendency to ramble in these videos, so let's hop straight into it. I'm going to provide right up on the screen a little recap of the of the phase that we just completed, which was phase 3. After about 2 weeks of protocoling, we're going to see where the weight has landed. I was expecting anywhere between a 2 to 5 pound increase from the new base weight of 186 pounds. However, honestly, anything 195 and below, I'm happy with. I've been maintaining essentially at, the weight has been fluctuating throughout the week, but the average weight has been sitting around like 194 pounds, which I don't think is necessarily accurate, but I'll get into that. After that, in the past week, we introduced new dietary fats such as butter, some nuts, cheeses other than cottage cheese, and some whole fat milk. And we decided to forego the 250 calorie addition this week. Now we enter into phase 4. So we are going to continue eating as normal and continue the exercise protocol. No new reintroductions this week. However, what we are going to do is we will be adding in 250 calories extra, which brings us the total caloric target per day to be 3,055 calories. We're going to do this for about a week. We're going to see how my weight fluctuates, where it lands, and if it climbs up, we're going to take it out. We've sort of found our maintenance at this point, and if it continues to hold, then who knows, maybe we can add a little bit more in. So those are the phases. That's the phases that I completed, and that's the one that we're going to enter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post right up on the screen here my weekly weigh-in totals. So my average for this week was 193.94, so essentially 194 pounds. Like, it's not very much different from last week. However, there is a reason for that. Tuesday, I've actually included all of the numbers here, all my weigh-ins for the week. You'll notice Tuesday, there is a pretty considerable jump. Now, there's a reason for it. I did have a family function to attend. I didn't want to be running late. I couldn't work out for as long as I wanted to, couldn't sauna for as long as I wanted to. And that day, I will admit, I was not as diligent with tracking my calories. And I did, there were these maple cookies, and if any of you know what I'm talking about, you know that those are really hard to pass up. So yeah, I mean, it was a bad day, to say the least, in the sense of, like, it was a bad day where it wasn't consistent. I did end up paying for it, but again, most of it is just water. And then you'll notice near the end of the week, actually on Saturday, I weighed in around 188, which again, I think is where the weight is landing. This morning I weighed in at 190.6. So I think that is sort of my general range. All in all, this sort of is just sort of a cautionary thing. And it goes to show that, again, one day can have a massive effect on the scale. But I mean, if you notice throughout the week, like, essentially I'm weighing 12 pounds lighter 5 days later. So most of it is ultimately just water, and it's all about how you use it as well. Like if you overeat one day, it's not that big of a deal. Just use that in the gym, or go for an extra walk, or something or other, and you'll be able to. Wow, I thought I turned all these off. Forgive me. That's annoying. In any event, use whatever you did, those calories that you overate, and then continue on. And ultimately, just as long as you don't make it like a consistent thing, it's going to it'll work out eventually, and you'll get back to like your normal, whatever your normal is. Sorry, that was a terrible joke, but I had to do it to him. One take, it's all we do. So, I'm going to post the progress pictures right up on the screen as well for a cheeky little comparison. And I'm not going to lie, it's looking pretty gosh darn consistent. I'm noticing that I am looking somewhat similar week over week, which is nice. I'm not looking as puffy. The pumps that I'm getting in the gym are crazy. Still maintaining that really nice vascularity on my arms. The midsection is tightening up. It's getting a little drier. The chest is looking a little big. Jawline is still there. But you'll also notice that I have no mustache. I caved. I couldn't keep it up for any longer. And it's going to be clean shaven / stubble for your boy for the next little bit. But all in all, I have to say that 3 weeks in, the fact that I still do have nice delt separations, still the fact that I am maintaining nice vascularity, I think I'm doing a pretty good job with the reverse cut from an aesthetic standpoint as well. So yeah. You can still see the rib cage a little bit, still see where the obliques coming in. I'm very, very satisfied with it, and it's nice to be able to. It's nice to be able to look at yourself week over week with a sense of pride. I was talking with a very good friend yesterday, and it's almost as though like you're looking at a sculpture that you've crafted yourself, like on your own flesh, if that makes sense. It's really it's quite powerful. It's quite invigorating. So, and also after years of looking at myself in the mirror and not enjoying what I saw, this is a really nice, welcome, consistent change, to say the least. So, I will now be getting into my weekly and caloric and macronutrient intake. So I was averaging a little bit lower and than I did last week. I was actually averaging about 100, almost about 100 calories lower. Which again, as I explained in my previous video, that as long as you're within like 100 calories over and under, whatever. And the reason why I did that is because, again, I wasn't able to accurately calculate my calories on Tuesday. So I had estimated that I had consumed around 3,500 calories that day. In all honesty, it could have been more. It's just, if I'm not preparing the sandwich, or if I'm not or if there's like a side dish, like a pasta salad or an egg salad or whatever, or a dessert that's available, I don't know what goes into it, so I can only really give an estimate. But what I did to compensate for that was that on Wednesday, I ate like 1,900 calories. Wednesday, I ate 2,400 calories. Thursday, like 2,700 calories. And then Friday, Saturday, I ate just like a little bit north of 2,800. I zigzagged it like that. And I think I'm going to do that throughout the week, just because, like I mentioned also in my previous episode, sometimes it's really hard to hit your target on the dot. You might be missing like 40 calories or like 120 calories or something like that, and it's just either like, one, you just don't feel hungry, but two, you're just like, well, I don't really want to like, it's such a weird number to find something out of. It's like, okay, like 40 calories, I'm gonna have like half of a date or half of a banana, and then just leave the other banana. So it's just, for me, like, sometimes if I don't hit it, if I undershoot it, I'm not necessarily fussed with it, because again, this sort of dovetails into the macronutrient breakdown. I'm still averaging, 255 grams of protein a day, which is more than enough for, actually, if anything, it's a little bit too much, I would say, but it's more than enough to maintain the muscle that I have. And if I am eating in a surplus, then I can put a little bit on. My carbohydrate content did lower to about 192 grams per day. And I'm okay with that, because I think what I'm going to end up doing is going back to a mostly meat and dairy kind of diet, just because I feel a little bit better. Not to mention, carbs are such a hassle to prepare, and it's such a hassle to worry about. Like, I'm constantly thinking about food now. I'm constantly thinking about, I have to use up this fruit, and I have to use up this vegetable, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just, like, if I have some every now and again, I will say, like, having a wrap is pretty blessed, because it does help to, like, keep you satiated when I feel hungry. At the same time, though, am I gonna really lean in to a, like, all carbs all the time? Probably not. I think what I am going to do is I might have days where I do go fairly carb heavy, carb load up, so then that way, if I know I have a heavy day at the gym coming up, then that way I can use that to propel my workouts going forward. But it's evening out. And then the fats, they did increase a little bit. I'm averaging about 110 grams of fat a day. That's probably going to increase a little bit more as well. But overall, the eating, aside from those couple of days, which was where I wasn't tracking it accurately, and I wasn't I didn't work out for as long as I could have. I wasn't as consistent as I should have been. I mean, it's been pretty good. I hop back in the saddle very, very quickly, and all in all, I think it was a solid week of eating. I can't wait for this one. But this brings us into our sample menu for the week. Like I said, it wasn't as consistent this week. It was a pretty busy week, all intents and purposes, and I wasn't necessarily able to have a consistent menu, but essentially this is as consistent as it gets. So obviously, you already know the deal. For the morning, 6 eggs. That's not even an issue. Usually this time, instead of because I didn't prepare my Jell-O, I had a lot of grapes, so I'd have like 200 grams of grapes. So that brings, breakfast to be around like a little over 600 calories, 40 grams of protein, 37 grams of carbs, 33 grams of fat. Very, 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 very balanced. Mid-morning, I'd either have like a banana chocolate shake or a cherry chocolate shake. So what I would do is I'd put like some Greek yogurt in there, little bit of water, and then either cherries or bananas, and then 60 grams of my whey protein. Blend that sucker up. The cherry one's around 460 calories. The banana one's around 570 calories. But anyway, the total breakdown for that is, for the cherry one anyway, it's like 460 calories, 40 grams of carbs, 73 grams of protein, no grams of fat. So that's really nice, either like mid-morning, just sort of keep me going. My pre-workout would be something I'd make myself like this kind of a salad. So I'd have like 200 grams of coleslaw, 125 grams of pressed cottage cheese, which is, by the way, like, it doesn't taste like much, but the macros on it are absolutely crazy. So I'd have that in there. I'd dress it up, like throw some vinegar on there, like maybe a little bit of like hot sauce and mustard. I know that sounds like a weird salad dressing, but trust me, it works. And then I would have like a wrap with that, and sometimes I'd add some tomato and raw onion in there. That averages out to about anywhere between like 360 to like 500 calories right there, and that's great because it's pretty carb heavy. There's there's a decent amount of protein in there from the pressed cottage cheese as well, so it's nice, good pre-workout fuel. And not to mention, if I add a wrap in, it'd keep 2 wraps. Whew, I don't need to eat for quite some time. And then post workout, I fluctuated. I either have something light, like a this dessert, like I'll make either like a chocolate mousse, protein shake, some bananas, and then like maybe like a little bit of beef jerky or some cold cuts. Or I would have if I didn't eat all of like my main block of protein, which is like my protein, like my pork loin or whatever else. This week, mostly it was, again, like pork. I'm starting to eat chicken this week, so that's going to be the flavor of the week. Another wrap, about 150 grams of tomato, 100 grams of raw onion, and then sort of make a little wrap out of that and eat the rest. And that works out to anywhere between like around 1,400 calories, 133 grams of protein, 83 grams of fat, 33 grams of carbs. So a really nice recovery meal. But honestly, my post-workout meal tends to be a little bit smaller now. I'm not going to go back to intermittent fasting, but I think that, again, having a nice meal before a workout and then something really light at night kind of really does suit me. I don't want to eat too close to bedtime, and I don't want to feel too heavy close to bedtime as well. Usually I'll go for a little walk around my neighborhood as well for about like a half hour, 40 minutes, after I'm done eating, just to help everything digest and keep it moving. But I also don't want to be waiting for like an hour and a half in a food coma after I eat before I go do that. But anyway, that's sort of a sample menu of what I had this week. It's going to get a little bit more consistent this week, but we still managed to get her going regardless. Now we're going to post an update on the workouts. So I'll post those numbers right up on the screen. And I gotta say, despite not being able to, again, broken record time on Tuesday, on Monday, not being able to work out for as long as I wanted to. And also yesterday I wasn't able to sauna for as long as I wanted to because my gym closed early. That said, this week went really, really well. I'm actually switching back to dumbbell press instead of a bench press, mainly because, again, it's just a lot easier to find a bench, a flat bench, and I can just pick up the dumbbells and go, rather than having to wait around for the barbell bench and, someone's just hanging out on there for like 25 minutes, and it's just, you ask them like, how many sets are you doing, bro? And they're just like, they're on their power lifter shit. So I'm just gonna switch back to dumbbell press. You feel a little bit more like a badass anyway doing it, so I enjoy that. That's going really well. Weighted dips going well. Tricep extensions going well. Lateral raises going well. Same thing with my pull day. Today is, as I'm recording this, is going to be my pull day. That's going swimmingly. No new updates with regards to that. And then my leg day as well. Again, it's successful. Like I'm actually able to, squat my own body weight for reps or higher. Woohoo! Good for me. It's only by about 10 pounds or so. But I am noticing that they are getting a pretty difficult. And again, I'm not sure if it's just because I'm self-conscious about the fact that I have a hernia, that I had a hernia or whatever else. Maybe I just need to maybe I needed to deload a little bit more and then do some or add something like a leg press to help with volume training. In any event, my leg days are super short, but they are always a blessing to do. Anybody who says that they don't love leg day, I'm sorry for you, because even though it is tough, the best things in life are the toughest, and leg day is especially one of those. So that's the update on the workouts. Now we get into the general thoughts. Honestly, guys, it's been a great week so far. It was a little bit rough because like I am noticing some, like I was noticing at the very least, like week 2, beginning of this past week, I was still really hungry, even though I'm eating like 2,800 calories. I'm like, what the hell? I have so much more food in me. What's going on? Why am I always this hungry? Now that's sort of evening out. It might be a false dawn. I don't know. I've spoken to some people and they've said that post their cut, they could, they had to eat consistently for almost a year before their appetite sort of normalized again. So that might be the same thing with me. Who knows? Time will tell. But that being said, like I can't front. It's been a nice week. The weather's not been the greatest, but it's a beautiful day today. Every Sunday is beautiful when I record for some reason, even if it's raining. I'm just feeling still really happy, really grateful. Like I got that burning sun in my chest, and just all in all feeling a lot more positive, which is, for me, just an absolute blessing. I'm so grateful that I'm able to feel this way, that my thirst for life is far from being unquenched. And just being genuinely happy is something that is, and being full of joy is something that is so life-changing. And especially after going through periods where you would be in ruts, or you wouldn't be satisfied with yourself, not just with the way that you looked, but your production outputs, like how effective you were at work or interpersonal relationships or whatever else. To be able to be consistently happy is actually crazy. And I think that I absolutely love it. I'm rambling a little bit right now just because, again, no script, one take, that's all we do. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that it can be hard to be consistently happy. And I get that. That's not to say that shit doesn't irritate me, because yes, a lot of shit irritates me. But it doesn't last now. I'm not thinking about it, an hour, 2, 3 hours after that. It almost just it irritates me in the moment. It's like when you spill water on your shirt. It's like, crap, my shirt's wet. And then 5 minutes later it dries out and there's no stain. And it's like, oh, I forgot that I even spilled water on my shirt in the first place. That's sort of what it feels like now, and it's a great feeling. But at the risk of rambling, I will put a pin in it there. This has been the 3rd episode of the Road to 180 Reverse Diet. Stay tuned for next week when we come back with an update as to how the 250 calorie edition has went. Thank you all so much for your support so far. Wouldn't be able to have done the cut in the first place without you. And thank you for your continued support on my reverse diet. If you found this entertaining, informative, cringy, all of the above, none of the above, drop a like on the video and a comment down below to share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them and read them. And as well, consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this and other types of content that I will be producing on my channel. Keep your eye out for next week's episode. I will also be releasing my post-mortem fairly soon, and I'll be back next week with another update. Let's power through this week, and I hope you all have a fantastic one. Take care, everybody.